See, one thing about the US is in your statement of purpose, you now want to pitch to them that, okay, I'm available to be used. I wrote my SOP 3 times, but thanks be to God, I did not even pay attention to that. In my statement, it's, hey, they both they have start. Calm down. Stop rushing. Hi guys, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is NENYEEE and I create videos to help international students like yourself, if you're one, to help you navigate your journey to studying here in the US. Today we are talking about one of the most important parts of the graduate school application, right, which is the statement of purpose, or your SOP as most people will call it. So writing a statement of purpose can feel some sort of, intimidating, but don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you things and tips that I did in writing my own graduate school SOP. I'll walk you through the structure like step by step so you can tell your story in the most convincing yet professional way, in a clear and compelling way as well. So let's start with the basics, right? So what is a statement of purpose? So the SOP is your chance to tell the admissions committee who you are, why you want to join the program, why would the program benefit you, why are you like the perfect candidate to be admitted to the program, and how your aligns with your goals. It's your opportunity to basically sell yourself in a way that makes you stand out above your grades and your test scores and all of that other good stuff. Like you're basically just telling the admission committees that, okay, this is why you should pick me out of every other person. Okay, so some of you might ask, what is like the ideal structure of the SOP? So to structure your SOP in an effective way and in a more compelling way, you want to start with an introduction that has a hook. You want to share a personal story or a unique experience, or something I would call a statement that kind of like draws your reader in. I mean, that's something I'm learning in graduate school right now, like in my writing class. You have to start with a paragraph that draws your reader in, that reflects your passion for why you want to study that program or for your field. So for example, it could be, oh, I first fell in love with computer science, depending on whatever your field is, when I built my first website at the age of 14. That moment kind of like sparked an interest in me, and which is what is kind of like driving me into furthering my education in this field. Or I'm just going to tell you what I said in my own SOP. I kind of like started, what Disney once said, if you can dream it, you can do it. And if you know me, I'm a dreamer. This quote has been a guiding force in my life, inspired me to pursue my passions without limits. Again, if you know me, you know that I'm one person that likes to go for anything that I want to do. As a child, I spent most of my weekends and evenings watching Nollywood films, which is the Nigerian film industry, films for entertainment and relaxation. So during school breaks back then, my mom would take us to family friend, we'll stay with this family friend, and we always watch Nollywood films. I traveled to Lagos to visit my family, and I attended cinemas and theaters where I saw a lot of movies and shows. And these experiences, kind of allowed me to not only enjoy great stories, but because of that, I developed a keen interest to studying film studies back in my undergrad level, even to the extent of being a theater student where I performed on stage. I mean, if you know a little bit of my background, then you will know all of these things. So yeah, you want to start with something like that draws your reader in, something personal, something unique, something very significant to your story. And then at the end of the day, you want to tie it to the course you're going for, right, or to the program or to the field you're coming down here to study. So make sure whatever it is you're writing, whatever it is you're starting to write, at the end of the day, you're linking it to why that thing or that program is going to be beneficial to you. So the next part you want to talk about in your SOP is your academic background. So for this, you want to start a paragraph where you're highlighting your academic journey, your key accomplishments back then. Maybe if you just finished undergrad, you want to highlight most of the key achievements or accomplishments that you had while you were in your undergrad or throughout your undergrad journey. Or if you finished your master's, then you also want to put that there and highlight your key achievements, things that you achieved, your major wins academically in that paragraph. So you want to also mention relevant coursework that are related to the program that you're going for. You want to mention specific research. If it's your thesis, you want to put that there. If it is your dissertation, you want to put that there as well. If it's any papers that you've published, you also want to put that in your academic background section as well. You want to put anything or projects that has prepared you for graduate school, which is this process that you're trying to apply for right now. So for example, you could say, during my undergraduate studies, studies, maybe in mechanical engineering, I focused on renewable energy solutions, completing like a particular project, or you put the title of the project there, that reduced energy by producing 20% of so and so energy, whatever. Like, or you can be like me and in my statement is, hey, they both I want you have start. Calm down, stop rushing. I wrote the pursuit of academic excellence as kind of like being a driving force in my life, which led me to study visual and performing arts with a major in film studies, where I focused in film studies and production. So, despite the rigorous demands that undergraduate school is like, especially with my course, film studies and production, where you're doing both the course track and you're also on set, you're filming, you're editing, you're doing all of that rigorous work and the demands that come with it. Like, I was also able to maintain a CGPA of 3.48 out of a 4-point scale, where I graduated with a second class honors division, and I excelled distinctively in this specific coursework, in these specific courses, like fundamentals of screenplay, survey of world cinema, history of world cinema. So I mentioned specifically most of the courses that I had distinction in, and by distinction I think I would say courses that I had A in, right? All you need to do is just go to your transcript, check your transcript. If you know the courses that you had like A or B, I think those ones can be considered distinction, and mention those relevant courses in your coursework that that is very, very peculiar to the course track or to the program that you're coming down here to do. Trust me, when they see that thing where you specifically highlight those things, that is giving them an edge that, oh, this person is mind-blowing, this person is excellent, this person is brilliant. Because how can you have 27 distinction in a, you are not lying? Actually, that's the funniest thing, because I didn't lie. One thing you don't want to even do in your statement of purpose is lie. You want to be as truthful as possible, because at the end of the day you submit your transcript. So if what they are saying does not tally, I'm sorry my dear, you are just shooting yourself in the leg. So make sure that what you're putting on your statement of purpose matches what is on your transcript if you're going to mention specific coursework. So that's like the main thing, or the benefits of mentioning this thing in your statement of purpose. It lets them know that, oh, you're a very brilliant student, and for having such distinction, it kind of like even puts you on their radar. Oh, they need this kind of person, they need somebody who is of high intellect like this in this field. I mean, it's a plus for you if you can state that. And you also want to, like I said, mention your thesis or your research. In that paragraph for my academic background, I mentioned, like, as part of my undergraduate thesis and dissertation, I wrote on the comparative analysis of old and new Nollywood film, a case study of Kunle Afolayan's Irapada and Kenneth Niboye's Living in Bondage. If you've not read my thesis, I'm going to somewhere maybe drop the link in the description box. If you're a scholar like me and you want to read, I'll leave it for you in the description box. You can go and read it. So ResearchGate, or I'll just leave a link for you. You also want to put that. And good thing is my school published that paper, so I also wrote it in my statement of purpose that this paper was published. You also want to, like I said, infuse these things, put your key achievements, don't downplay yourself. This is where you literally have to sell yourself academically. Like, the place where you sell yourself professionally is coming. But for this paragraph, put it, say your major highlight, say your key highlight. If you don't have all the time in the interview to say yourself, how do I put this? Every school literally would have to conduct an interview with you before they give you an admission, but that's like 50-50 chances if the school wants to do that, or most schools do that. So if they do that, then it's another way for you to, okay, maybe things you didn't write in your statement of purpose, you can further elaborate on that. But for you to even get the chance to be interviewed, to be granted an admission, what you write on your SOP is what will determine if they give it to you or not, the materials that you put forward. So I want you to consider this when you're writing your statement of purpose, especially in your academic background section. So the next part you want to infuse in your SOP is why this program and why the university. Okay, so for this, you want to show that in this section you have done your research, like you have extensively done your research. Explain why you are interested in that particular program and how it aligns with your goals. Okay, so for example, you could say the faculty at Michigan State University, particularly Professor Jenkins, whose work on sustainable design I admire, makes this program a perfect fit for my research interest. But again, the way I'm saying this thing, you have to put details. Don't just make it generic. Don't just makes this program perfect for my research interest. What is that research interest? What is that professor's work that you saw that spiked your interest? Mention the name of the work. If you can even put the professor's full name, put it. Put the faculty's full name as well, or the faculty's details as well if you can. This way they know that when they read your statement of purpose, they'll be like, oh, this person has done his or her research, and this particular SOP is tailored to them personally. It is not a generic SOP that you're writing to all schools with generalized form of writing or with a generalized word. Like, it's just generic basically. So make sure you avoid generic terms when you're writing this thing. One thing I'm going to also highlight is in my own SOP, I think this was one of the things I did. I kind of like wrote that I was specifically interested in the professor that I'm working with right now and how his work particularly struck me, and I wrote the name of the work and how this school, like with the specific thing they have in their program, basically aligned with my goals for my future and my academic goals as well. So another thing I would say is for you to be able to show that you've done your research and you know what you're saying, one key point is to go to the school's website. Like, everything you need is on the school website. If you're not doing this, then you're not doing your due diligence. Go to the school website, your program, read that part that has programs, vision, program, goals, program, mission. I think most schools have that. If there's anything, my own program has it. And when I read that and then I highlighted my career goals, my academic goals on one side and the school's own on one side, I looked through both to see how the school fits into the career goal that I had and my academic goal. So when you look at that, you're kind of like, oh, be able to tune your response or what you write in your statement of purpose for your application. So that way, when the school read, they'll be like, oh, this person has done their research. They've gone through our website. They know what we offer or what we would be able to offer to them, and they fully understand that. So that puts you on their radar as well. Whatever school you're choosing to apply to, if you're choosing to apply to 5 schools, go through their website, know what each school has to offer to you, and infuse that in your statement of purpose. Don't be generic. Don't make that mistake, because I feel like most professors can tell when a paper is generic and when it's not actually tailored to them or to their program. So try to avoid that. Again, if you can mention specific professor name, that's fine. About 3 or 4 fine that are in the faculty. You have the access to you on the school's website. You just need to go to faculty and staff in your school's program, and then you'll see their names there. So the next part of your SOP would be to mention your career goals. So I want you to state your career goals like in short and long term. Basically, share your short term and your long term goals. You want to explain how the program will help you to achieve them, right? For example, you could say, oh, my goal is to work in urban planning to design smarter, greener cities. And you could say this program's focus on so and so thing, or probably on sustainable development, will equip me with the skills and the knowledge to be able to make the world a better place. So you want to infuse something that the program has to offer you into your career goals and how it's going to benefit you. For someone like me, I kind of like stated, oh, I have a strong desire, in writing about films, in talking about films, in analyzing films, and my school has like an extensive vision and goal in using film theory, film narrative pattern to be able to break down film analysis, to be able to talk about films. And how I put that in my statement of purpose on how I want to build my career as a film scholar. I want to be able to criticize film, and my program has this specific thing that will be beneficial to me with courses like this that I will be able to gain an extensive knowledge from, and it's going to even help me to positively even review Nigerian films and talk about how certain narrative patterns in our industry can be like tie it back to where you're coming from, okay, and to your career goals, and make everything sink in basically. The next thing I also want to say on your statement of purpose, which most people don't usually address, is in your statement of purpose, I would urge you to, especially if you're a student that is looking for graduate assistantship, you want to infuse it that in your statement of purpose that you intend applying for scholarship and financial aid that the department has to offer you. I mean, you've already sold yourself from the beginning to the end, right? And this last part is like your conclusion, your pitch basically. Now this is where you have to let the school know that, oh, I'm the best candidate, and with everything I have tabled from 1 to 4, you should be able to grant me this, see me as a bona fide candidate that can be able to work with you, work in your department, and with the knowledge that I have, with all the distinction that you got in your undergrad, with all your achievements, with all the people that published your work, and they are supposed to they want to see one thing about the US is if they see that you're a bona fide candidate and they see that you have a lot of things, they want to use you. That's just the thing. And in using you in a good way, don't quote me wrong please, or don't quote me elsewhere in a way that I said it. They want to use you in a good way, and that's why in your statement of purpose you now want to pitch to them that, okay, I'm available to be used, okay, please use me. But in doing that, I want you guys to offer me like a graduate assistantship, or put this in a professional way. I don't say you should go and write I'm available to be used in your SOP. Put it in a professional way and make it seamless, like, oh, you intend to apply for scholarship or financial aid from the department if they have, and maybe from the school board or from the faculty or from the particular professor you're planning to work with, because most of these professors are the ones that they give this funding to, and the department, if I'm not, it's not the school as a whole, it's the department and the professor you'll be working with. So you can say this will go a long way to help you to cushion your finances, tuition fees, your housing, all of that good stuff, anything to help you to be able to navigate your financial situation. You also want to include that, oh, you're interested in a graduate assistantship role or a teaching assistantship role or a research assistantship role, anything just to help with your process. Because I think in my statement of purpose, I kind of like related how I was a undergrad teaching assistant. I was the class rep of my school or my department or my class, where I would assist my professors at the time with disseminating materials to my other colleagues in class. It's all these things you want to relate and put in. So if you were a class rep or if you were ed girl, I included the ed girl part in my CV. I didn't include it in my statement of purpose, but what I included in my statement of purpose was my undergraduate teaching assistantship position that I did for my professor, and how I was able to help both of them to be able to disseminate materials to the class. I also conducted class discussions, but because we did a lot of that, if I'm being honest, back in school, professors would make us stand in front of the class and talk to everybody. So you want to infuse things like that. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't downplay your achievement. Say it, put it in a more professional tone. Basically, I can't say this to everybody because I don't know what everybody's goal is in life. The best thing I can do is give you an example or a reference or a tip so that you can now infuse it in your own goal, or just fine-tune it to fit into your plans and your academic goals. So you want to end with a very strong closing statement, basically, that reinforces your interest and your enthusiasm in going for the program. So for example, you can say, well, I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute and grow within the university's name. If it's Michigan State University, West Union University, whatever, I just put it around that area. Like, I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to and grow within Michigan State University's dynamic community, right? And I look forward to the challenges and discoveries that lie ahead. You can also say something, oh, it is my ultimate goal to become this and this and this amongst this and this and this body, and to foster growth in this and this and this. I think it's something around what I said. Then you can oh, thank you for your time, and I eagerly anticipate the opportunity to join so and so university's vibrant community, dynamic community, anything that is specific to that school. The final tip that I'm going to share with you guys for writing your SOP is be concise. If there's anything these professors here is be concise. Even in your visa interview, give short, concise answers, but straight to the point that has the necessary information. Hope that makes sense. Stick to a particular word limit. Certain schools have different limits. Some schools have 500, some schools have 1000, some schools have 1500. Go to your school's website again to check the specific word limit for each school. During my time, I did not pay attention to that, and this is me being transparent. For the sake of transparency, I'm being transparent with you guys, and because of that, I wrote more than my word count. So my word limit was 500. I wrote 1000, but thanks be to God, I did not even pay attention to that. Again, just stay concise in your word count or in your word limit. Another thing is use clear professional language. If anything I've been saying throughout the day is for you guys to use a professional tone. Don't sound nonchalant. Don't sound like you don't have your words in check. Use words that are clear and it's professional in tone. You don't want to use complex words, right? Avoid overly complex words or jargon. You also want to proofread your material or your SOP multiple times, to check for grammar, spelling errors, and also for clarity. One thing I did during my own time was I had a lot of people check my SOP. Particularly, I had this friend who I kept sending my SOP. I wrote my SOP 3 good times, just so you know. Initially, the first time I wrote it, the introduction was nonsense. He told me that I cannot write the SOP. He told me I couldn't write the SOP the way I started writing, that I need to rewrite it. The second time was, oh, I need to include something in my academic background. The third time was for me to remove some generic content or word towards the ending of my SOP, which was towards my conclusion part, that my career goal area. So you want to have people that will help you review your material. If you can't review it yourself, or even if you've reviewed it yourself, it's always good to have third parties look at your materials and help you. Sometimes some things you probably might overlook, a third eye would not be able to overlook it. Okay, so you might think, oh, this is not serious, they will not see it. When you give to another person, that person will see it. And just the same way that person will see it is the same way your professor or the admissions committee is going to see it if you had submitted it like that in the first process. So make sure you have people review your material for you, particularly your SOP, even your CV, right? Make sure they help you review. You also want to tailor your CV to each program and each school. Did I just say CV? Your SOP to each program and each school. Please make sure that you don't send a generic SOP to a school or to multiple schools. Customize every of your application. So if you're writing to 5 schools, get ready to write 5 different SOPs to 5 schools. I did that. Yeah, for the schools I applied to, I wrote specific SOPs to the schools I applied to, and I tailored it to fit the school's requirements. In as much as you might be submitting your CV to the same schools, your SOP is different. I hope I make sense. So guys, I hope this breakdown helps you feel confident in writing your statement of purpose. If for anything, I shared things that worked for me when I wrote my SOP, advice I got from my friends, my inner circle, I shared it with you guys. I'm literally not holding anything with you guys. I'm literally bringing in you guys in every aspect. Remember, this is your chance to share your story. Your SOP is your chance to share your story. If you don't get to do that during your interview with the school, you have to do that with your SOP. In as much as certain schools may or may not ask for an interview, probably they have different ways they go through the admission process, but this is one of the ways you can share your story uniquely in your voice and particularly sell yourself. Show why you're the perfect fit for that program and the perfect candidate for that assistantship or for that funding or whatever. Just make sure that you fine-tune it for that program. Okay, if you have any questions or want me to review specific aspects of an SOP, let me know in the comment section. Right, don't forget to share, don't forget to like, subscribe for more videos like this to help you in your study preparation journey. I mean, we're in February and a lot of people are still submitting their materials by this time. I hope this video goes up by February. Pray for me, guys, because graduate school is showing me things because I have to maintain a very good academic standing, so I'm trying. So I pray that this video comes up in January. If it does not come in February, rather, if it does not come up in February, probably first week of March, but I will try. I promise I will try. So don't forget to share this video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please drop a comment for me in the comment section if you want more tips like this to help you in your process and in your journey. And honestly, to be very honest, this is from the bottom of my heart. Good luck in your applications, and I hope that you guys get your admission. It's a very good thing to come over here to study, and I pray that you will be admitted to the school of your choice and you will get that funding that you want and that you need. Okay, there's also a Telegram support group if you need help with anything, so you can join the group. The link is in the description box. Okay, I'll see you guys.